What up, folks? Welcome back to the Belt Loop 29 channel. Obviously, I'm Belt Loop 29 since I'm the only one you see in your picture. I thought I'd go over another episode of the Trophy Husband Chronicles. However, today it ain't all roses and chocolate. It ain't all flowers and tobacco. Today, we're going to talk about the dark side of being a trophy husband. Some of the problems what you can encounter. Well, a lot of y'all may have heard me say that when my wife and I got married, she married up. It's true. I ain't telling stories out of class. From the way I see things, when we got married, her family became my family and my family became her family. Well, she had this uncle. His name was Steve, and I worked with him a little while. He was laying carpet. Anyhow, he got sick at some point, and he needed a place to stay, so I let him move in with me and Tammy. Now, Tammy probably didn't want it to happen. She's kind of a lone wolf type situation. She don't like a lot of folks around. Anyhow, Steve moves in with us. I might have to tell this in a little bit. Got to get in the right mood. Yeah, I'm a little moody. There is a downside or a dark side to being a trophy husband. See, as a trophy husband, I have a very caring heart. I like to do for folks. Anyhow, it was my tender heart what allowed my wife's uncle to move in with us. He was sick. I think he had Crohn's disease. Anyhow, come close to dying at one point. That don't mean he was a good person or anything. Just means that he was sick. I didn't, he didn't have any place to go, so I let him move in with us. That boy robbed me blind. Anyhow, one day, well, let me take you back. I used to work for this company. A lot of y'all are familiar with Sirius satellite radio. Well, the very first, now something you may or may not know is that the very first Sirius satellite radio was sold at Cowboy Maloney's on I-55 North. I was working there at that time. They had the thing scheduled and everything. They knew they was going to sell the first one in the world, and so they planned a party the day before. The night before? Yeah, it was the night before. Had this big tent set up outside, out in the parking lot. It was like one of these circus tents. It's huge. They had folks like Tom T. Hall and Lester Flatt or Earl Scruggs, whichever one was the last one alive. But they had all these folks come up there and play, and had an open bar. And well, I had a couple of beers that night, and I took 2 of them beers home with me. They were Heineken, the kind what the fancy people drink. Anyhow, let me tell you about it. So I took these beers and I set them in my refrigerator. Well, I ain't much of a drinker. On occasion, I do imbibe a little bit. I just don't drink so much these days. Or then. I was waiting for just the right time to drink them. They were special beers. They were special because they come from this big party. There was all sorts of celebrities up there. And just didn't seem right to drink them just any time. So I waited. Weeks went by. Maybe a month or 2. And one morning I woke up and the sky was especially pretty. It was blue. A few clouds here and there, just nice puffy ones. Ones you like to gaze at for a little bit. And the temperature was perfect. That was a beautiful day. It's the kind of day you wake up and you say, man, it's going to be a wonderful day. Well, that day I decided today is the day I'm gonna drink them beers. I don't have to work tonight at work. The temperature's good. The sky is beautiful. It's time. So I went to work, and all day long while I was working, I was thinking about them 2 beers. Thinking about how beautiful this day was. It's the kind of day you really want to be off, but being responsible and everything, you go to work. So I get off of work, I go home, I think about it, man. All throughout work I'm thinking, the perfect place to drink them beers is going to be on the back porch. It's a beautiful, you got some trees out there, and it's got some, a beautiful view of the sky, and it's just a wonderful place to be at times. So I get out there and I sweep off the back porch. I clean up the table, wipe it down and, clear it off. I break out the tiki torches and put them on the corners of the deck. I fill them up with that tiki torch juice. What makes them burn? I lit them. Now, I had set these 2 glass mugs in the freezer. Any of y'all that watched my awards video know I love a frosty mug, and it just makes it better when you're putting something you really like in it. It enhances it. So I go through and I take these glass mugs. I take one of them out, set it on the counter. I go through and take the beer out. This Heineken, been in there for a little while, saving it for the right time. I pop the top, and you don't really hear any pop when I do it. It just kind of clunk. I pour it into this frosty mug, this ice cold, frozen, frosty mug. Should have been a huge head on it, or at least a head. There wasn't no foam at all. In fact, it didn't even look like beer. It was, clear. Didn't have that amber color to it. I said, that's weird. I ain't never seen a beer do that. I mean, I know it's in a green bottle and everything, but you'd think that, it'd be amber. I mean, every beer I know of, except for them dark beers, is amber color. Anyhow, I says, that ain't right. So I said, well, maybe just that beer went bad or something. Maybe had some kind of a problem at the bottling company. So I break out that other glass mug, and I take out that other Heineken. You get my bottle opener, pry that bad boy open. No pop, no sound of air sucking in, no nothing. It just kind of clung. And I said, well, that's not promising. So I poured it in the glass. Come to find out what had happened, my wife's uncle had drank them beers, filled them up with water, and put the cap back on. Man, I tell you what, I'm not a violent man, and I'm slow to anger, but man, that mood was broken. That whole day just made me so mad. My wife offered to go get me some more Heineken, but it was too late. The mood was broken. The day was ruined. I don't know, people. It was a sad event. But I tell you what, being a trophy husband can be tough. Doing for others, taking care of family, and he did me like that. What's bad is I found out later he did the same thing with a bottle of Tres Generaciones tequila that I got from Mexico. He took it out, drank it, and filled it back up with water. That boy robbed me blind. He's passed on since then, but man, he did me wrong. That's the dark side of being a trophy husband. When you do for others, sometimes it'll bite you in the butt. Just saying. Yep.